Let me take a look at you.
What's up, dude?
Good to see you, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you look the same. Exactly the same.
Except no hair.
And in a 40-year-old body.
Yeah, in a 40-year-old body.
Wow, Tim Rushing. Unbelievable.
Funny.
It's a weird thing seeing someone
I know.
they haven't seen in...
How many years has it been? Since
it's
like
been-
70...
When did you move?
I moved back down here in 78.
So 30 years. you
Fourth,
moved.
fifth, and sixth grade.
Yeah, okay, I thought it was 6th grade.
Yeah.
So
that's
to
when-
see someone and the face is the same, but it's in a 40-year-old body, it's weird. It's really weird.
It seems in every town in America that there's a secret fishing spot where the water runs clear and the bass are always biting. And at that spot, there's an unsung hero who knows every stump, lay down and lily pad. Seems all he's got to do is wet a line. And sure enough, he's reeling in a big bass. So if you're looking for real people with real fish stories, then hop a ride. We're going to Lunkerville.
This is an interesting boat. What are we on here? This doesn't look like a bass boat.
You're on a release flats boat. They make them in Homestead, about 20 minutes away from here. 30 minutes away.
It's well equipped to fish for bass.
Yeah,
You have your trolling motor.
it's a great boat for red fishing and snook fishing in tournaments, but it's actually turned out to be a sweet bass boat.
All right, man. Let's do it.
Off we go.
Wow, this looks fishy.
It does look fishy, doesn't it? So it's a Saturday afternoon and I'm hanging out watching the World Fishing Network. And here's this show. And I read the credits and it was Lunkerville. This guy travels from town to town, fishing these secret honey holes and spots. And I turn it on and there you are. I didn't know it was you at the time, tiptoeing around, fishing up under a bridge. And I didn't really recognize you.
As you wouldn't.
But something kept me watching the show. It's just such a pleasant show to watch. As the show started wrapping up, I'm looking at the credits and I saw Mike Diavola. And I'm like, holy moly, Julie, come here and look at this. When I know him, we used to fish together when we were little kids in the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade.
When I started Lunkerville, it was for fun. I love to fish, I'm a filmmaker. I didn't really expect it to do anything. I didn't really expect anyone to pick it up. But we got on TV. We've shot in multiple seasons. But we don't have ratings. There's no way to really gauge the success of the show, except through emails and people contacting me, telling me they like the show. Well, I have my own gauge. And it started with the first show. When I recall those early days of fishing with my friend Tim at Lake Frank, and I said to myself, the day that Tim gets a hold of me, after he sees the show and puts 2 and 2 together, and is like, Mike, it's your neighbor Tim from when you were a kid. We used to go fishing together. When he gets a hold of me, I'll know people are watching the show, and that will be my gauge for success. And what happened one day? Email, Mike, I nearly fell off my couch.
And I couldn't wait to get in there and send an email. I just thought it was the coolest thing. Here we are, hadn't seen each other in 30 years, 31 years, maybe 32 years.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen each other in 32 years.
It was a great moment. I'm telling you, when I got that email, I was like, yes.
He was out here in the middle, down off this cliff. Maybe they're sitting out here in deeper water. No, but what's funny, I mean, when I lived up in Maryland, all I did was bass fish. Then I moved down to Florida and I turned into just a bass fishing machine of all time, all through middle school, high school. Oh, Mike.
Damn, but he exploded on it before it hit the water.
That was a big man. Did you actually get a hook set in it?
Never had him.
Dude.
No.
That was a horse.
Ah! Oh.
Man. Serious tournament guys fish out here. And I mean, I've stood next to him side by side doing it. And we just had this front roll through yesterday. It rained all day. It's cooled down a little bit, not a lot, but he was explaining to me that those fish move through here in just big, giant mass migrations up and down these canals. And I'm not sure what anchors them to one end of it or another, because it's all just so similar. But he said sometimes you'll be drifting along and you'll see a school of bass and there'll be a whole host of 1 and 2 pound bass swimming along with a couple of big fat ones following them. And you'll just see them migrating right down the middle of the canal under the surface like the gar.
Here we go. Oh, he's a little guy. He's a bass though. Wow, that's like a New York bass.
There you go.
You follow me down here? Well, the skunk is off.
Now, you know one of my things I do, Mike, I catch snakes big time.
Snakes?
Snakes of all shapes and sizes, poison, non-poison.
How do you catch them?
And alligators. Same way you see it on Crocodile Hunter.
And what do you do with them?
Handle them and let them go.
Cool. And you enjoy that? That's a big sport?
That's been one of my things. Remember I used to catch them in Maryland?
I remember. Remember you used to have them eat birds?
Remember I had that big king snake?
Yep.
Snaky poo. And we fed him that baby crow or something. I can remember watching a beak go down the side of him when he swallowed it. So what we're doing is using one of these little watermelon back with like some sort of purple shad stomach out of the Lunkerville kit. And this looks exactly like what we were fishing with yesterday. And you put a decent size, I think I have a 3/16 ounce weight and a little 2/0 hook since it's a small worm. You can get away with a smaller hook. And we're slipping up here in this steep edge and looking for cover. And these fish in this bright blue sky are gonna be hiding deep up in the shade. Uh-huh, look at there. There he is.
Yeah, that's a nice bass.
Yeah, getting there.
Was he deep?
No, he was right in the middle of these lily pads, right dead center. Man, they got the prettiest green color, don't they? Can you see that? Fish.
Oh yeah.
They like this worm.
Yeah. They like your worm. Wait, I got the same thing.
When a big old disturbance like that comes, that'll trigger them to bite, as opposed to scaring them and shutting them down.
You too can be on the show. Log on to www.lunkerville.com to submit your home video.
All right, boys and girls, hopefully this is a decent vantage point. One of the better bass today, solid 1.5 pounds, no huge monsters, but I've worked real hard for this one. I finally went back to my old standby, old culprit worm, but I've had it in a gulp bag, so it's got some scent too. I've got it Carolina rigged with a swivel, so I have a small leader tied to a Texas rig. So, seems to be working. Got 3 hits in this one little hole right away, so there you go, baby. Yeah! James River bass. Another thing I picked up on a Cinco. I don't know what it is about Cincos, but here we are in James River and a blue crab. You gotta love that. He never let go of the Cinco. Came all the way up to the boat. But this is lucky break, along with the bluegill. There they both go. Adios.
What the hell was that?
That was a bass. He was in there. I mean, think about that. That's how thick this stuff is. I mean, that was a 1 pound bass.
What just happened?
Wow.
Tim put the trolling motor on. We're right by the shore, and this bass just jumped clear over the boat.
All right, there he is. Fish.
Oh yeah. There's a bass.
Little basser. Caught out in the middle, just reeling it. You know, for whatever reason, and it might be that front, these things, the bigger ones don't seem to really be eating too much today, but that could change any minute. Mike, when you're rigging up, why don't you switch rods? That reel you got's got a little grind I noticed yesterday in it. What I do now with my Shimano fleet is send them to the factory with a nice little letter saying enclosed is my beloved Stratic this or that, and need some factory TLC, kindly. Somebody was pecking my worm. Kindly give it a good factory TLC tune-up, and anything you deem non-warranty, send me an invoice. And half the time, I don't even get a bill. They just fix the reel and send it to you, or tune it up and send it to you if there's something actually wrong with it. Or you'll get a $13 invoice. Or occasionally, if the reel's going out of production or whatever, they'll call you up and actually, for $30, give you another reel.
Pays to be polite. Good manners never hurt. And you know, Shimano, they're not a sponsor. We're not just plugging them. This is a true story. That's a great tip right there.
Yeah, I didn't have the same luck with pin. I had a pin slammer, and I still have it sitting in a box, almost brand spanking new, and somehow something got stuck in it, the anti-reverse, and it chipped up the gear. I mean, just pure warranty. And I wrote that same love letter I write Shimano, and they actually called me and weren't going to do anything about it.
Oh yeah. Oh, here he comes.
Mike D with the Everglades bass.
Oh yeah, finally. Oh, come on, baby.
All right.
All right, well, not too bad.
Kind of par for the course today, isn't
You
it?
had to go back to you know what. Good looking, hey. Glad to see him. Wow.
Glad to set the hook and feel something.
That took a while. There you go.
There's your Oscar. I had a feeling one of those guys would hit one of these.
Ah,
Look at that.
yeah, that's pretty.
Now that right there, you see in aquariums all over the... Ow. Look at that.
Nice.
Come here, Junior. I used to have these in college in my aquarium. You could hold. He got me twice.
There's a sense of danger in the air now. The wind kicked up. We got this massive storm. It's coming right towards us, Tim. Now, should we make a beeline to shelter, or is it gonna stimulate the fish right now? Is this a good time to catch them?
If you want to get wet, a lot of times, the fish actually bite very well in the rain. But that thing, I hadn't heard any lightning or thunder yet. Might also be nice and comfy to watch sitting in one of those Seminole chickie huts.
I'd say we go to the chickie hut.
Let's crank up and boogie. Look at him coming.
Oh, he's coming.
Look at him speeding up.
What you doing there? What's that sound you're making?
That is a baby alligator.
What's that gonna cause him to do?
You know, they come to it. And the reason they come to it, I think, is they want to eat it. You know, alligators are cannibals.
Yeah, they eat their young?
Oh yeah. Well, the other ones eat the other's young. Mama gator doesn't eat her own young, but Papa gator and all his buddies come and eat the young. And that sound is a baby alligator in stress.
Oh, barely hooked.
Barely hooked. He came way out to it too. Barely hooked. A little bit bigger.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's a lot darker.
Didn't he?
Doesn't he look really dark? Look at him. Look at his eyes, they're black. Now, why would that be? Is it where he lives?
Yeah, maybe the water's darker, a little more tannins in the water here than some of those other ones.
That's a fish. Here we go.
Oh, big Oscar.
Big Oscar, yeah.
Look at there. Man, that is a
There we
fighting
go.
little fish, isn't it?
Totally.
That's a big boy, though.
Woo!
Nice.
Fighting Oscar going after the Senko. Now, can you lip these guys?
That thing fought like a big man. You can, but you know, be wary with him, Mike. Why don't you grab those boga grips and just stick that in there, because I got myself, the fire poked out of me on that one I handled.
All right. He's got a little, that looks like a peacock bass. He's got that little
It's that little spot.
spot. You see that little spot
That
on
little
his tail?
fake eye, so predators go for that tail.
Man, he fights nice. Look at that.
I like those things. I like this moving current a lot. I thought you had a big man.
Multi-species.
Remember those days we'd talk our parents into going and taking us out to, like, was it the fair or the flea market or something where they had the big beer can conventions?
Oh yeah.
Remember the beer can conventions?
Yeah, sure.
And then there were guys up there that were like collectors, but they would display and sell their stuff. Mm-hmm. And I can remember the days we'd suck your mom into it or my mom, and they'd take us, and
we'd spend all this money.
we'd spend all our money on
beer cans, buying them from like middle-aged men like us.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh yeah, and then we used to make our own little submarines and put like bugs in it, and then let them go on some adventure in a creek.
The underwater
Occasionally put
adventure.
them in a model rocket, send them into orbit.
Yeah. Got him. Another little teeny weeny.
Remember we used to dig up worms, my mom's compost
Yep.
pile, go down to Lake Frank in the middle of the night. It seemed like in the middle of the night. It was probably 5:30 in the morning on our bikes and have our bobbers and catch those little panfish. But every once in a while, Tim would take out a lure, an artificial lure, and throw it out there way far, no bobber. I'm looking at him, what is he doing? And boom, catch this big bass. And it bewildered me. But really, I can safely say, if it wasn't for Tim, there would be no Lunkerville. I really believe that, because I don't think I would have ever caught the bug for fishing. And although I didn't fish for a long, long time after those early days, it always stuck with me. And what stuck with me was I wanted to get one of those big bass on an artificial lure. Now, I'm still trying to get the big bass, but at least I'm catching something on artificial lures.
All right, there he is.
Oh, double header.
Nice. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I knew there was something under there.
Fish under there.
Nice, man.
I saw that guy come right up. He just came straight up like Jaws on the cover of that book.
Look at that. Woo. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is funny because we used to have these laughing fits all the time.
laughing
We
fits.
would just make each other laugh constantly, and that's the feeling I got.
I know.
After just a few minutes fishing with Tim. It's been 32 years, but I just felt like we were back there at Lake Frank, 11 years old, and just fun fishing.
Fun
it was
fishing.
a great time, man. Great
Telling
to see you.
stories, making up stories,
Yeah.
telling lies, having a good time.
Having
You know,
our adventures.
It's like two guys, when you meet a lot of people in the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade and you move on with life, it's so hard to ever see them again. How many people do you ever know and see? But you have all these good memories tucked away in your mind, and all of a sudden you get out here and it's like you just kick right back into that mode from 32 years ago. Laughing, talking, thinking of those same crazy little stories we did, all that goofy stuff. Life is good.
Awesome, man. Life
Yes,
is
sir.
very good. Tim,
Good time.
great seeing you.
Good time.
And it's not going to be 32
Yeah.
years before
No
we
way.
fish
We'll
again.
do it again. Got to get out on the salt water a little bit.
Next show, Saltwater Lunkerville.
All right.
Thanks, Tim, and thanks everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in next week to Lunkerville.